Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Latoya Williams from Liberty University, and this is my presentation on interpersonal communications. This is my presentation outline. Firstly, I will start with the introduction, then I will progress to identifying my overarching goal, defining the enlarging the conversation, description of how my behavioral blend have influenced my conversation positively and negatively, defining the potential barrier in my interpersonal context, how I plan to deal with each of my potential barriers, and a plan of action for achieving my overarching goal as well as my references. Communication is defined by Arthur Stewart as being the continuous, complex, collaborative process of verbal and nonverbal meaning-making. John Stewart went on to define interpersonal communication as being the type or kind of communication that happens when the people involved talk and listen in ways that maximize the presence of the personal. Effective listening is vital for strong communication. Author Burley Allen emphasizes the importance of listening when she stated, "Of all the time we spend communicating, by far the greatest is spent in listening." Author James E. Peterson found that a lot of poor communication stems from poor listening skills. Author James E. Peterson found that when he listened more intently to others, he developed a greater understanding and appreciation for those he listened to. He stated, "When I took time to understand others, it not only benefited them, it benefited me. I grew to accept a wider range of people and to enjoy most of the unlikely and unlikable among them. It is my goal to listen deeper so that I can develop a deeper appreciation and acceptance of others, especially those who are seemingly unpleasant to communicate and establish a relationship with. As a Christian, I am mandated by Christ to love everyone unconditionally, just as he loves us. It is my deepest desire to follow Christ's example. By listening deeper, I will grow in my ability to love as Christ loves." Enlarging the conversation requires one to step out of their comfort zone and embrace new ways of thinking. By embracing a new way of thinking, one will be able to see outside of their own worldview and embrace the perspectives of others, thus changing the conversation from being one-dimensional. Behavioral blends consist of the combination of the four distinct temperaments of DISC. The combination of the temperaments constitute individuals' unique personality types. One's behavioral blend influences the way in which they think, act, feel, relate to others, and make decisions. D temperaments are described as being dominant, directing, demanding, determined, and decisive, and doing. I temperaments are described as inspiring, influencing, inducing, impressing, interactive, and interested in people. S temperaments are described as steady, stable, shy, security-oriented, servant, submissive, specialist. C temperaments are described as cautious, competent, calculating, compliant, careful, and contemplative. The combination of the temperaments constitute individuals' unique personality types. My behavioral blend is CIS. Listed are some characteristics of the CIS blend. CIS individuals like to do things right, impress others, and stabilize situations. They are not aggressive or pushy people. They are good with people and prefer quality. They enjoy large and small crowds. They are sensitive to what others think about them and their work. They need to be more determined and dominant. How my behavioral blend has influenced my conversation positively and negatively. In a positive manner, my behavioral blend allows me to treat others in a compassionate, loving, and friendly manner. Because of my behavioral blend, I am not pushy and overly aggressive. In a negative sense, I have a tendency to overanalyze situations, which slows my decision-making process. My emotions tend to fluctuate up and down, Though I'm typically more bubbly and upbeat, I tend to struggle with feeling melancholy. I tend to be overly concerned about what others think of me, and I neglect necessary confrontation. The potential barriers in my interpersonal context. According to Burley Allen, a listening barrier exists when someone hears what he wants to hear, not what is really communicated. There are some listening barriers that I must overcome. Firstly, biased listening. And I plan to overcome biased listening by not prejudging the information expressed by others, focusing on the present, not allowing past experience to infiltrate the present conversation. I also struggle with interrupting others when they speak. I plan to overcome interrupting by focusing less on my own thoughts and what I intend to say and listening more intently to others. Struggle with self-conscious listening. I plan to overcome this barrier by focusing my attention more on the talker than on myself. And lastly, I struggle with fake listening. I plan to overcome this barrier by devoting my undivided attention to those who are speaking to me. My plan of action for achieving my overarching goal is to utilize empathetic and mindful listening skills, as well as guarding against being judgmental and focusing more on others than I do myself and my own thoughts. And these are my references. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time.